Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the U.E.'s Valiant. The ship moved slowly through the dark space near the Kepler 442 star system. This was their third week mapping new worlds. Jake was tired but happy. They had found 2 planets that could support human life. The bridge was quiet, except for the soft hum of computers. Jake watched the stars through the main window. Each point of light could hide new worlds and new life. That thought always made him smile. "Captain," called Lisa Martinez from her station. She was the ship's communications officer. "I'm getting something strange." Jake walked over to her desk. Lisa was frowning at her screen. Numbers and wave patterns danced across the display. "What kind of strange?" Jake asked. "It's a signal pattern, very organized. Too organized to be natural." Lisa pointed at the waves on her screen. "Look at this. It repeats every 47 seconds. The math is perfect." Jake studied the display. He had seen many space signals before. Most were just noise from stars or planets. This was different. Someone or something was making this signal on purpose. "Where is it coming from?" he asked. Lisa typed on her keyboard. A star map appeared on the main screen. A red dot blinked near a small moon. "About 6 million miles from here. The signal is weak and getting weaker." Jake thought for a moment. First contact with alien life was every explorer's dream. It was also every captain's nightmare. Earth's rules were clear. No contact without permission from home. But those rules were made for normal situations. "Can you make the signal stronger?" Jake asked. Lisa worked on her controls. The signal became clearer. Now they could hear something that sounded almost like music. But underneath the music was something else. Something that sounded like fear. "Captain," said Pete Williams from the navigation station, "I'm reading a ship near that signal. It's big, but moving wrong, like it's damaged." Jake made his decision. "Set course for that ship, full speed." The Valiant turned and picked up speed. As they got closer, the alien ship came into view on their screen. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time. The ship was long and curved like a bird in flight, but parts of it were torn and broken. Pieces floated around it in space. "Life signs?" Jake asked. "Yes, sir," replied Dr. Carol Kim from the science station. "I'm reading about 50 beings inside, but their life signs are weak." The signal changed. Now it was clearly a distress call. Even without understanding the language, anyone could hear the desperation in it. "Open a channel," Jake ordered. Lisa worked her controls. "Channel open, sir." Jake took a deep breath. "Unknown vessel. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earthship Valiant. We received your distress signal. Do you need help?" For a long moment, there was only silence. Then a voice came through the speakers. It was strange and musical, but the universal translator made the words clear. "Earthship ... humans ... yes, we know of you. I am Commander Veltar of the ship Starweaver. We are dying. Our people are scattered. The Devourers have taken everything." Jake felt a chill run down his back. "Commander Veltar, we're here to help." "What are the Devourers?" "Machines." Veltar's voice was full of pain. "They eat worlds. They turn everything into more of themselves. They destroyed our home. They hunt us across the stars." The alien ship suddenly shook. More pieces broke off and drifted away. "Our ship is failing," Veltar continued. "But I must warn you, the Devourers know about Earth now. They have learned where your people live. They are coming." Jake's blood turned cold. "How long do we have?" "Not long. Maybe weeks. Maybe days. Your people must prepare. The Devourers cannot be stopped by normal weapons. They learn from every battle. They grow stronger." Jake looked around his bridge. His crew was staring at him with wide eyes. They all understood what this meant. Earth was in danger. "Commander Veltar, we're bringing you aboard our ship. You can tell us everything about these devourers." "Thank you, human Jake Morrison. You risk much for strangers." "That's what humans do," Jake said. Lisa worked quickly to arrange the rescue. The Valiant moved closer to the alien ship. Jake watched as the rescue teams prepared their equipment. In a few hours, they would have aliens aboard their ship. Real aliens with real knowledge about a real threat to Earth. Jake opened a channel to Earth. The message would take 3 days to reach home. 3 days before Earth knew what was coming. He hoped it would be enough time. "This is Captain Morrison of the U.S. Valiant," he said into the microphone. "Emergency message for Earth Command. We have made contact with an alien species. They bring news of a grave threat to Earth. The enemy is called the Devourers. Prepare all defenses. Expect my full report in 72 hours. As the rescue operation began, Jake watched the broken alien ship. Whatever had done this to such an advanced vessel was beyond anything humans had ever faced. But humans had survived ice ages and world wars. They had reached the stars despite impossible odds. If these Devourers wanted a fight, they would get one. Jake smiled grimly as he watched his crew save the alien survivors. The Devourers might be machines, but they had never faced humans before. They were about to learn that some fights were worth having, no matter the odds. The stars seemed brighter. Now, soon they would carry the news that would change everything. The age of human isolation was over. The age of galactic war was about to begin. Admiral Betty Clark read the message from Captain Morrison for the 3rd time. Her coffee had gone cold hours ago. Around her, the war room at Earth Defense Command buzzed with activity. Officers ran between computer stations. Screens showed star maps and ship positions across human space. "Ma'am," said Lieutenant Commander Ryan Brooks. He was young but smart. Very smart. "We finished analyzing the data from the alien survivors." Betty looked up from the message. Ryan held a thick folder in his hands. His face was pale. "What did you find?" she asked. Ryan sat down across from her desk. He opened the folder and pulled out several photos. The images showed destroyed planets. Cities turned to ash. Oceans dried up and empty. "The Devourers hit 7 star systems in the past month," Ryan said. "Each system had billions of people. Now they're all gone." Betty studied the photos. She had seen war before. She had fought in the Mars Rebellion 20 years ago. But this was different. This was the end of everything. "How do they work?" she asked. "They're machines, but not like our machines. Each Devourer ship is alive somehow. They think and learn. When they attack a world, they eat everything. People, animals, plants, even the rocks and water. Then they use what they ate to build more ships." Betty set down the photos. "How many ships do they have?" "The aliens think maybe 1,000. Maybe. More, and they're all heading this way." Betty stood up and walked to the big window. Outside, she could see the moon. Beyond that were the human colonies on Mars and Europa. Millions of people lived in space now, all of them in danger. "Call an emergency meeting," she said. "All department heads. All fleet commanders. We need every ship we have." "Ma'am," Ryan sighed quietly. "Our biggest ships have maybe 50 crew members. The alien survivors say Devourer ships have no crew at all. They're all machine, and they're each the size of a city." Betty smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. "Then we'll have to be smarter than they are." 2 hours later, Betty stood in front of 30 of Earth's best military minds. The meeting room was silent as she showed them the photos from the alien survivors. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, "we are at war. The enemy is stronger than us. They have better weapons than us. They have more ships than us. Our only advantage is that they don't know us yet." Admiral Frank Davis, commander of the Mars fleet, raised his hand. "What about the Ghost Fleet?" Betty had hoped someone would ask that question. The Ghost Fleet was Earth's biggest secret. 5 experimental ships with technology that officially didn't exist. Ships that could appear and disappear like shadows. Ships with weapons that could crack planets. "The Ghost Fleet is our best hope," she said, "but we need the right commander." "Alex Stone," said Admiral Davis immediately. Everyone in the room nodded. Alex Stone was a legend. He had won the Mars Rebellion with 3 old ships against an entire rebel fleet. Then he had disappeared. Some said he lived on a farm somewhere. Others said he had gone crazy. "Find him," Betty ordered. "Whatever it takes." Captain Maria Santos was in her workshop when the call came. She was working on a new engine design when her computer beeped. The message was short. "Report to Earth. Defense Command immediately. Bring everything." Maria knew what everything meant. For 5 years, she had been designing impossible things. Engines that bent space. Weapons that fired pure energy. Shields that could hide entire fleets. Most people thought her work was just theory. They were wrong. She packed her designs and took the next shuttle to Earth. As the shuttle flew toward the planet, Maria saw something that made her heart race. Ships were gathering in Earth orbit. Not just Earth ships, but vessels from every human colony. The fleet was bigger than anything she had ever seen. At Defense Command, Maria met Admiral Clark for the first time. The Admiral looked tired but determined. "Miss Santos," Admiral Clark said, "we need your experimental ships, all of them. And we need them ready to fight in 1 week." "They're not ready," Maria said. "Some of the systems have never been tested. The weapons could blow up. The engines might not work." "Will they be better than what we have now?" The Admiral asked. Maria thought about her designs. The ships were dangerous and unpredictable, but they were also powerful beyond anything humans had built before. "Yes, ma'am. Much better." "Then get to work." Alex Stone was fixing his fence when the military transport landed in his field. He had been expecting this visit for 3 days. Ever since the news about the aliens had reached Earth, Alex knew what war looked like. He had hoped never to see another one. The transport's door opened. Out stepped Admiral Betty Clark herself. Alex had known Betty for 20 years. She looked older now, tired. "Hello, Alex," she said. "Betty." Alex set down his tools. "I suppose you want me to come back." "The Devourers destroyed 7 worlds in 1 month. They're coming here next." Alex looked up at the sky. Somewhere out there, machines were eating entire planets, turning everything into more death. "What makes you think we can stop them?" he asked. "Because we're human," Betty said. "We're too stupid to know when we're beaten." Alex laughed despite himself. "When do we leave? Now." The U's Revenant was unlike any ship Alex had ever seen. It was sleek and black, with no sharp edges. When he looked at it, the ship seemed to fade at the edges, like it wasn't completely real. "She's beautiful," Alex said. Maria Santos stood beside him in the hangar. "She's also insane. The engines can fold space in ways that shouldn't be possible. The weapons fire concentrated gravity, and the stealth system makes the ship exist in several dimensions at once." "Will she fly?" "I think so. I hope so." Alex walked up the ramp into his new ship. The bridge was small and dark. Instead of windows, there were screens that showed space around them. The crew stations looked like something from a dream. "Captain." On the bridge, someone called Alex looked around at his new crew. They were all young and eager. Most had never seen real combat. They looked at him like he could work miracles. "At ease," Alex said. I'm Alex Stone. For the next few weeks, I'm your captain. Our job is simple. We're going to find the Devourers before they find Earth, and we're going to show them what happens when someone threatens our home." The crew smiled. They didn't understand yet what they were facing. Alex hoped they would learn fast enough to survive. Commander Kate Williams stepped forward. She was tall and confident. "Sir, the other Ghost Fleet ships are ready. The U-East Phantom and U-East Spectre are waiting for orders." Alex nodded. 3 ships against 1,000. The odds were impossible. Perfect. "Then let's go hunting," he said. As the Ghost Fleet left Earth orbit, Alex watched his home planet shrink behind him. Somewhere ahead, the Devourers were coming. Soon, both sides would learn what the other was made of. Alex smiled grimly. The machines thought they understood war. They had never fought humans before. The Arcturus system was dying when the Ghost Fleet arrived. Alex Stone watched the main screen as his ship, the UES Revenant, came out of hyperspace. What he saw made his stomach turn cold. 3 planets had once lived in the system. Now they were being eaten alive. "My God," whispered Lieutenant Dan Murphy from the weapons station. He was a tough man who had seen many battles. But nothing like this. The first planet was already half gone. Giant machines the size of mountains crawled across its surface. They dug deep holes and pulled out everything inside. Rock, metal, water, air. Everything went into the machines' hungry mouths. "Captain," said Commander Kate Williams, "I'm reading 17 Devourer ships in the system. They're massive. Each one is at least 5 miles long." Alex studied the enemy ships on his screen. It looked like giant insects made of metal, long and thin with many arms that reached down to the planets below. The arms carried huge tubes that sucked up everything the ground machines dug out. "How long have they been here?" Alex asked. "Based on the damage," said Dr. Amy Foster from her medical station, "maybe 2 weeks. At this rate, all 3 planets will be gone in another week." Alex felt anger burn in his chest. 2 weeks ago, these planets had cities and farms. People had lived here. Children had played in parks. Now it was all being turned into machine parts. "Sir," said Chief Petty Officer Joe Taylor from the communications station, "I'm picking up something strange. The Devourer ships are talking to each other, but it's not like radio signals. It's something else. Can you hear what they're saying?" Alex asked. Joe worked on his controls. Strange sounds filled the bridge. They were not words or music. They sounded like math made into noise. "It's like they're all thinking together," Joe said. "Like one big brain spread across all the ships." Alex nodded. That explained how they worked so well together. But it might also be their weakness. "All ships," Alex said into his microphone. "This is Captain Stone. We're going to attack the ship closest to the second planet. Hit it hard and fast, then get out. We need to see how they fight." "Roger, Captain," came the reply from the UES Phantom. "Ready when you are," said the UES Spectre. Alex looked around his bridge. His crew was scared but ready. "Take us in, Kate. Nice and quiet." The Revenant moved toward the Devourer ship like a shadow. The stealth system made them almost invisible. Alex watched the enemy ship grow larger on the screen. Up close, it was even more terrible. The metal skin moved like it was alive. Tubes and arms reached in all directions. "We're at attack range," Dan reported. "Fire," Alex ordered. The Revenant's weapons lit up space. Beams of pure energy and gravity bombs hit the Devourer ship. The explosions were beautiful and terrible. Pieces of the enemy ship flew in all directions. But the ship didn't die. Instead, it turned toward them. The damaged parts began to fix themselves. New metal grew over the holes like skin healing a cut. "It's repairing itself," Dan said in shock. All ships, evasive action, Alex called. The Devourer ship fired back. Its weapons were unlike anything humans had ever seen. Instead of bullets or energy beams, it shot out clouds of tiny machines. The machines swung toward the ghost fleet like angry bees. "Those things are trying to eat our hull," reported Chief Engineer Maria Santos. "The ship's armor is holding, but barely." The other. Two ghost fleet ships attacked from different directions. Their weapons hit the Devourer ship from 3 sides. This time, the damage was too much for it to repair quickly. "Sir," Joe called excitedly, "when we damaged its communication array, the ship stopped talking to the others. It's fighting alone." "Now," Alex smiled, "then let's finish it." The 3 human ships attacked together. Their weapons focused on one spot until the Devourer ship's armor cracked. Then they poured everything they had into the opening. The enemy ship exploded in a ball of fire and metal. But Alex's happiness didn't last long. The other 16 Devourer ships were already moving toward them. "They're adapting," Kate reported. "Look at their formation. They're not fighting like before." Alex watched the enemy ships spread out in a new pattern. Instead of working like one big brain, they were acting more independent, more unpredictable. "They learned from our attack," he realized. "They're changing their tactics." The battle that followed was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. The Devourer ships moved in ways that seemed random. But Alex could see the pattern underneath. They were copying human tactics, using surprise and confusion as weapons. "They're using our own strategies." "Against us," Dan said, but Alex was already thinking ahead. "No, they're using what they think are our strategies. They don't understand that we never use the same plan twice." Alex opened the ship's communication system. "All ships, ignore your training. Fight like pirates. Fight like rebels. Fight like you're insane." "Sir?" Kate asked. "The machines think. They understand us now. Let's show them how wrong they are." What happened next would be talked about for years. The U.E.'s Phantom suddenly flew straight at a Devourer ship, firing wildly in all directions. Just when it looked like it would crash, it spun around and flew away backward, still shooting. The U.E.'s Spectre started flying in circles around another enemy ship. Its weapons fired in a pattern that looked completely random. But each shot hit exactly where the Devourer ship couldn't defend. Alex took the Revenant on an impossible flight path. He flew between 2 enemy ships, using their own weapons against each other. When they tried to follow him, he led them into an asteroid field and used the rocks as shields. The Devourer ships couldn't adapt fast enough. Their logical minds tried to understand the chaos, but there was no pattern to understand. The humans were making it up as they went along. "Sir," Joe reported, "I'm reading something strange in their communications. The signals are getting confused, like they're arguing with each other." "The collective mind is breaking down," Dr. Foster said. "They can't process true randomness." Alex saw his chance. "All ships, focus fire on the biggest ship, but keep moving. Don't let them predict where you'll be." The 3 human ships attacked like a pack of wild animals. They struck from impossible angles and disappeared before the enemy could respond. Slowly, the big Devourer ship began to take damage, but the victory came with a price. The U.E.'s Phantom took a hit that damaged its engines. The U.E.'s Spectre's weapons were running low on power, and the Revenant's stealth system was failing. "Captain," Kate said quietly, "we need to retreat. We can't fight them all." Alex looked at the tactical display. They had destroyed 3 Devourer ships, but 14 were still alive. And more were coming from other systems. "You're right," he said, "but we learned something important today. They can be beaten. We just need to be more human than they expect." As the Ghost fleet jumped to hyperspace, Alex watched the Arcturus system fade behind. The planets were still dying. But now he knew how to save the next ones. The real war was just beginning. For 3 weeks, the Ghost fleet ran through space like hunted wolves. Behind them, the Devourer ships followed like a dark storm. Alex Stone had turned the hunt into a deadly game. Every few days, his ships would attack and disappear. Each battle taught him more about the enemy. "Captain," said Navigator Sam Parker from his station, "I've found another impossible route. Through the Vega Nebula. The radiation levels are deadly, but our shields might hold." Alex looked at the star map. The Vega Nebula was a cloud of gas and electricity that stretched for millions of miles. Most ships avoided it completely. It was beautiful, but dangerous. "The Devourers won't expect us to go in there," Alex said. "They're too logical. They think the nebula is just a barrier." "Sir," said Dr. Amy Foster, "the radiation could kill us in hours." "Then we better work fast," Alex replied. The U's Revenant led the Ghost fleet into the nebula. Around them, purple and blue gases swirled like ocean waves. Lightning jumped between clouds of dust. The ship's hull groaned under the pressure. "Devourer ships are following us in," reported Commander Kate Williams. 12 of them. Alex smiled. "They're about to learn why humans explore dangerous places." In the heart of the nebula, electronics specialist Tony Garcia made a discovery. That changed everything. He was trying to keep the ship's computers working when he noticed something strange. "Captain," Tony called excitedly, "the nebula's energy is affecting the Devourer ships. Their communication signals are getting scrambled." "Show me," Alex said. Tony put the readings on the main screen. The Devourer ships were sending confused messages to each other. Their perfect coordination was breaking down. "It's the charged particles," Tony explained. "They're interfering with the quantum signals the machines use to think together. In here, each ship has to think for itself." Alex felt hope rise in his chest. "Can we use this against them?" "I think so. Give me an eye." While Tony worked, the Ghost fleet played hide and seek in the nebula. The human ships used the gas clouds as cover. They appeared long enough to fire a few shots, then disappeared again. The Devourer ships couldn't adapt fast enough. Without their shared mind, they fought like separate animals. They made mistakes. They got confused. Some even fired at each. Other by accident. "I've got it," Tony announced. "I can turn our weapons into signal jammers. If we hit their communication arrays, we can cut them off from each other completely." "Do it," Alex ordered. The new weapon system worked better than anyone hoped. When the human ships fired their modified weapons, the Devourer ships went silent. They stopped working together. Some just floated in space, unable to decide what to do. "It's like cutting the wires in their brain," Dr. Foster said. But the victory in the nebula was only temporary. When the Ghost fleet left the gas clouds, the Devourer ships reconnected. They shared what they had learned. Now they knew about the jammers. "They're adapting again," Kate reported as they jumped to the next system. "The new ships have better shielding on their communication systems." Alex wasn't surprised. The machines learned from every battle. But humans could learn too. "Then we'll have to get creative," he said. The running battle took them through 7 star systems. At each stop, Alex tried something new. He used gravity wells to slingshot his ships around planets. He hid in asteroid fields and used the rocks as weapons. He even flew through the corona of a star, using the intense heat to overload enemy sensors. Each trick worked once. Then the Devourers adapted, and it never worked again. "We're running out of ideas," Kate said after their latest escape. "And we're running out of space." The main Devourer fleet is only 2 days from Earth. Alex looked at the tactical map. Red dots showed enemy ships throughout human space. There were hundreds of them now, maybe thousands, all heading toward Earth. "Sir," said Chief Petty Officer Joe Taylor, "I'm getting reports from the outer colonies. The Devourers hit New Chicago yesterday. 3 million people live there." Alex closed his eyes. New Chicago was where he had grown up, where he had learned to fly. Now it was probably just empty space and machine parts. "Any survivors?" he asked. "No, sir. Nothing left." The bridge was quiet for a long moment. Everyone knew that Earth would be next. "Captain," said Sam Parker quietly, "I have family on Earth, my wife and kids." "We all do," Alex replied. "That's why we're going to stop them." "How?" Kate asked. "We've tried everything. Every time we hurt them, they learn and get stronger." Alex stood up and walked to the big screen. Outside, stars shined in the darkness. Somewhere among them, Earth waited, his home. Everyone's home. "We've been fighting them like machines," he said, "using tactics and strategies. But we're not machines. We're human." "What do you mean?" Dr. Foster asked. "Humans don't win wars because we're smarter or stronger. We win because we're willing to sacrifice everything for what we love. The Devourers are machines. They don't understand love. They don't understand sacrifice." Alex turned to face his crew. "Send a message to Earth. Tell them to evacuate as many people as possible. Then, tell every human ship in space to meet us at Proxima Centauri." "Sir," Kate said, "Proxima Centauri is right in the path of the main Devourer fleet. We'll be completely outnumbered." "I know," Alex said. "That's the point." As the Ghost Fleet set course for their final battle, Alex thought about his life. He had been a soldier for 30 years. He had seen friends die and enemies win. But he had also seen ordinary people do extraordinary things when they had no choice. The Devourers thought they understood humans now. They had studied human tactics and learned human strategies. But they had never seen what humans could do when fighting for their families. Soon they would learn. Alex just hoped there would be enough time to make a difference. The stars ahead grew brighter as they flew toward Earth. Behind them, the Devourer fleet followed like a shadow of death. In 2 days, both forces would meet near humanity's home. One side would win. The other would be destroyed. Alex smiled grimly. The machines wanted a war. Now they would get one. Earth hung in space like a blue and white jewel. From the bridge of the UE's Revenant, Alex Stone could see his home world clearly. Somewhere down there, billions of people waited to learn if they would live or die. Around Earth, the largest human fleet in history had gathered. Ships from every colony and outpost had come home. Mining vessels, cargo haulers, passenger liners, and warships all floated together in a massive formation. "Final count, Captain," reported Commander Kate Williams. "We have 843 ships against approximately 1,500 Devourer vessels." Alex nodded. The odds were still terrible, but better than he had hoped. "Any word from Dr. Foster and Engineer Santos?" "They're still working in the engineering section. Whatever they're planning, they won't tell anyone about it." For the past day, Dr. Amy Foster and Chief Engineer Maria Santos had locked themselves in the ship's lab. They claimed to have found something important in the quantum readings from the Devourer ships, something that could change the war. "Sir," said Chief Petty Officer Joe Taylor, "the Devourer fleet is dropping out of hyperspace. They're here." The main screen filled with enemy ships. They came out of the darkness like a swarm of metal insects. Each ship was huge and terrible. Together, they blocked out the stars. "There. Not attacking yet," observed Lieutenant Dan Murphy. "They're just watching us." Alex understood why. The Devourers were studying the human formation. They were trying to understand why so many weak ships had gathered in one place. To their logical minds, it must seem like madness. "Open a channel to all ships," Alex ordered. When the channel was ready, Alex spoke to every human crew in the fleet. "This is Captain Alex Stone. Today, we fight for our home. Today, we fight for our families. The enemy thinks they know us. They think they understand how humans fight. They're wrong." Alex paused and looked around his bridge. His crew was scared, but determined. They knew what was coming. "The Devourers are machines," he continued. "They follow patterns and logic. But we are human. We love and hope and dream. And when someone threatens what we love, we do impossible things." As Alex spoke, the Devourer fleet began to move. They formed perfect attack formations. Their coordination was flawless. Every ship knew exactly where to go and what to do. "There, targeting Earth," Kate reported. "They planned to ignore our fleet and attack the planet directly." Alex had expected this. The machines were logical. Why fight the fleet when they could destroy the thing the fleet was protecting? "All ships, Alex?" "Called. Operation Sacrifice is now in effect." What happened next would be remembered as long as humans existed. Every ship in the human fleet, from the smallest mining pod to the largest battleship, flew directly at the Devourer formation. They didn't try to be clever or tactical. They just charged straight ahead. The Devourers were confused. This wasn't strategy. This was madness. Their perfect formations began to break as they tried to understand what the humans were doing. "Now," Alex whispered at that moment, 800 human ships did something no machine could understand. They began to sacrifice themselves for others. Mining ships rammed into Devourer vessels 5 times their size. Cargo haulers exploded their fuel cells to damage enemy hulls. Passenger liners flew between the enemy and Earth, using their own. Bodies as shields, the Devourers tried to adapt, but there was no pattern to follow. Each human captain made their own choice about how to die. Some rammed enemy ships. Others exploded like bombs. A few just flew in circles, confusing the enemy. "Sensors. It's working," Kate said in amazement. "The Devourer formation is falling apart. They can't process this level of chaos." But the human ships were dying too. For every enemy vessel destroyed, 3 human ships were lost. The space around Earth filled with wreckage and fire. "Sir," Joe called urgently, "Dr. Foster is asking." "For you in engineering. She says it's time." Alex left the bridge in Kate's hands and ran to the engineering section. He found Dr. Foster and Maria Santos standing next to a device he had never seen before. It looked like a crystal ball surrounded by spinning metal rings. "What is this?" Alex asked. "We figured out how the Devourers really work," Dr. Foster explained quickly. "They're not just machines. They're uploaded minds from an alien species that died millions of years ago. All their consciousness are connected through quantum entanglement. That's their strength," Maria added. "But it's also their weakness. If we can create a quantum feedback loop, we can overload their entire network." Alex looked at the device. "What do you need?" "All 3 Ghost Fleet ships have experimental quantum cores," Dr. Foster said. "If we detonate them at the same time, in the right pattern, we can create a cascade failure that will destroy the Devourer collective consciousness." "What happens to us?" Alex asked. The 2 women looked at each other. "The explosion will destroy everything within 1,000 miles, Maria said quietly. "Including us," Alex nodded. He had known it would come to this. "How long do you need?" 10 minutes to set up the cores. Then someone has to stay behind to trigger them manually." "I'll do it," Alex said immediately. "No, sir," came a voice from behind him. Alex turned to see his entire crew standing in the doorway. Kate Williams stepped forward. "We all will." "You don't understand," Alex said. "This is a suicide mission. You'll all die." "Yes, sir," Kate replied. "Just like every other human out there. The difference is, our deaths will actually mean something." Alex looked at the faces of his crew. They were young and brave and stupid. Everything that made humans special. "Are you sure?" he asked. "We're sure," they said together. Alex keyed his. "Radio. UE's Phantom, UE's Spectre. This is Captain Stone. Prepare your quantum cores for synchronized detonation. We're going to end this war." "Understood, Captain," came their replies. For the next 10 minutes, the Ghost Fleet moved toward the center of the Devourer formation. Around them, human ships continued their desperate attacks. The space battle raged like a storm of fire and metal. "Cores are ready," Maria reported. "All ships are in position." Alex looked around the bridge one last time. These people had followed him into hell. Now they would follow him into death. "Open a channel to the Devourer fleet," he ordered. When the channel was ready, Alex spoke to the enemy for the first time. "Devourer ships, this is Captain Alex Stone of the human fleet. You came here to destroy our world. You thought we were just another weak species to be consumed. You were wrong. The Devourer ships were closing in now. Their weapons were charging. In seconds, they would fire. You see, we humans have something you machines will never understand. We know that some things are worth dying for. Today, we die for our home, for our families, for our future." Alex's hand moved to the detonation control. "This is what sacrifice looks like." He pressed the button. The 3 quantum cores exploded at exactly the same moment. The explosion was beautiful and terrible, light brighter than a star-filled space. The quantum feedback raced through the Devourer network faster than thought. For the first time in millions of years, the uploaded minds of the Devourer collective felt something they had forgotten. Fear. Individual fear. As their shared consciousness broke apart, each mind faced its own death alone. The effect was instant. 1,500 Devourer ships went dark at the same moment. Their lights went out. Their weapons stopped firing. They drifted through space like giant coffins. The human fleet had won. Earth was safe. But the victory had cost them everything. 6 months later, Admiral Betty Clark stood in Earth orbit at the memorial service. A new station had been built where the Ghost Fleet had made their sacrifice. It was called Stone Station, after the man who had saved humanity. Ships from across the galaxy had come to honor the human dead. The Zephyrians were there, grateful for the species that had avenged their world. Other aliens had come too, species that had heard the story of humanity's sacrifice and wanted to meet the people who would die for strangers. "They saved us all," Betty said to the gathered crowd. "Not just humans, but every free species in the galaxy. They showed us that some fights are worth having, no matter the cost." As the memorial service ended, new ships launched from Earth's shipyards. These vessels carried mixed crews of humans and aliens. They flew toward distant stars to spread a simple message. Freedom was worth fighting for. Love was worth dying for. And together, the galaxy would never bow to tyranny again. The age of human isolation was over. The age of galactic cooperation had begun. And it all started with 3 ships and the crews who knew that some things were more important than living. Stars were brighter now, and they always would be.